Yeah.
We're
Oh, we're live. We are live. It shows up as live. What's up, everyone? I am Jason.
Hey, I'm Jerry.
So we're just having a fun conversation. Today's the topic is 5 reasons why gratitude changes your business and your life. And we were just having some fun with just some of the things that we go through as entrepreneurs. And like I was talking about just being grateful for the fact that we get to do this right now. Like we get to like get on this webcast and do something that we truly enjoy doing. We don't have to wake up every single day and go to a job that we don't really enjoy, working for people that don't appreciate us, that make us feel ungrateful, right? Get us
Right.
into the wrong state of mind. So we're gonna have a really good show today. So Jerry,
Yeah.
man, I'm
Yeah,
I'm,
I just
I'm
like what
excited.
I like what you were saying about, being appreciative of the people that you're working with and being able to get up and not have to go to a job sort of where we're at and the things that you don't they say not to do. And you're like, okay, wait, I enjoy those things, watching
Yeah,
playing video games or
yeah,
watching football or something like that. And You
yeah.
know, it is funny. Everybody wants to tell you what you can and can't do, and it's like, hey, I'm just going to be grateful and thankful for the life I have and being able to do what I want to do.
That's it. That's it. Like success is right. Like success is like dependent on like every individual. Everybody's got a different definition of success. There's people who say you can't have a good life if you watch TV. It's like, well, I mean, I kind of like my life. I like to watch some TV shows and stuff. Like I don't think that I'm like all that unsuccessful at this point. Like I'm helping a lot of people, and it's like, well, I guess like by your definition, that I'm a complete loser. you know. And I've always noticed that it's kind of it's always the people who are really frustrated at other people and they like to like point fingers at everybody else, like why they're you know
Right.
I'm
They
so pissed
feel
off
like
today because like someone got me
nag.
in a bad state of mind.
Yeah. Yeah, we sort of have a world of nags out there, it seems like. They want to tell you what you can and can't do or say, and you got that going on in college campuses right now, people being offended or mad for people saying things. It's just like, why you want to infringe on somebody else's life, live and let live.
So is that what's going on in college? Because I've been watching South Park this entire season, and literally the whole season of South Park is about like how PC everything has gotten, like how everybody's like really, really politically correct, and like if you say anything, they got PC principal that came into the school, publicly correct principal, and he's like the chairperson of their fraternity, their publicly correct. I think their fraternity is like PC U or PCA or something,
Oh,
it
really?
stands for publicly correct, and they're like going around talking about how everything's offensive, and this guy's like the principal of the elementary school, and like the kids are like, what the crap's going on? And I guess that's what's happening right now, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody's just overly
politically correct. Yeah, yeah.
overly
There's
sensitive.
been there's been a bunch of like protests and at colleges about people saying things, or saying the wrong things. Sometimes it's been like, racist things, but I mean, it just seems like there's a whole wave of people offended by, kicking out speakers, who weren't, their politics and things. And, I kind of thought college was supposed to be where you're supposed to hear all sorts of different points of view that maybe even were different from your own, but apparently that's really it offends the delicate snowflakes of today, apparently.
Well, I think that leads into gratitude, right? Is
Yeah,
usually when people are complaining about stuff, they're coming from a place of not being grateful.
right.
First and foremost, they're just, like everything else that's going on in life is making them upset. Other people's actions are making them upset, as opposed to just being like grateful for being here, being now, and being present. And like, hey, if like the people that you're around and the stuff that you're watching isn't putting you into a place of gratitude, then maybe it's time to, turn something else on or get around other people that you actually enjoy being around where you can have cool conversations where everything's not going to be this like this negative thing, you know. Like we got some cool stuff to talk about today, so like I think that I could probably get like way ahead right now. But tomorrow, so the reason why we're doing this is Thanksgiving. So, you know, like instead of like having, you know, just a cheesy Thanksgiving thing, we thought that we'd put something together that, you know, we feel would be beneficial to, you know, our audience, people who are watching, about, you know, like Thanksgiving is a day to be thankful. To, you know, for me, it's not thankful for the food, you know, it's thankful for, you know, life. It's thankful for the people that I get to hang out with every day, the people that are in our community, people who aren't in our community that are going to be watching this in a year from now, saying, you know, I saw, like, I can't tell you like how cool it is to have people come up and tell me, like, hey, I saw this video that you did a couple years ago, and like you were talking about this like $20 product. It's like, yeah, that was when I very first started drop shipping, and it's like, holy cow, I need to take that down. You know, but it's like people that are seeing it now, stuff that was 2 years ago. So like this stuff has, you know, lasting power, and if we put a good message out there, you know, like it touches the right people, and we get the right types of people around us, and we repel the wrong ones because they don't. And, you know, they're too pissed. They're too busy being pissed off and ungrateful to sit around and watch this stuff, right?
Yeah. And, you know, they're not ready for it, or maybe they have to hit rock bottom, or whatever you say, you know. But yeah, we want to, you know, talk about how you can take, you know, 5 concrete, you know, reasons why, you know, they can change everything for you today, and that's what we're going to talk about. Is bottom line, what can you do today to really get in that state of gratitude more and more? You know, because we all go in and out and have our moments, you know, but it's how we're all together moving towards being more and more in that flow, you know, that flow of gratitude.
Absolutely, you know, so about that, I am the most imperfect person on the planet. So like, I know that when I am like really in my element, and I'm really doing well in like all areas of my life, you know, physically, romantically, you know, financially, it's generally when I'm like waking up with a purpose every single day, and I'm getting into a place of just being grateful, first and foremost in the morning, and getting focused on what I want to accomplish. I always realize when I tend to slip, and I slip, you know, all the time. You know, I'm not like a robot. I don't wake up and be perfect every day. I've got moods, and you know, but I've always noticed that when like I tend to slip, it's when I get out of a place of focusing on just being grateful. You know, it's usually when I'm just not thinking about it, you know, and like when I'm not thinking about it, it tends to lead me down different paths, you know, where I might, you know, not be doing things the way that I should be doing them, or, you know, should, right? the way that I want to be doing them, I guess I should say. Because, you know, hey, life is all choices, right? And it, you know, it's just getting into a place of awareness first and foremost of, you know, like kind of where some of these feelings come from. And usually it comes from just, you know, like if you hear all the personal development books and gurus out there, you know, it generally always starts with gratitude. You know, I know Tony Robbins, someone that both of us really follow. He's got methods that you can use to get into a place of gratitude, and it's really helpful. You know, it's made a world of difference for me. Not to say that I do it every day, because I have days where I don't, and you know, sometimes I have weeks where I don't. It's not like I'm not this like being that like never misses a day. You know, I think like a lot of times when we get put into like a leadership position, we have to like portray ourselves as like this person that we're not necessarily. And I know like I'd like to just be who I am, you know.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. You know, and the same thing. We both like doing walks, you know, and that's sort of, you know, one of those areas where you and I both have talked about, you know, going on a walk, walking the dog, and that's been times where I've done that, you know, just having those moments of, you know, saying a prayer of thanks, just, you know, naming the different things, you know, and it's so easy, even if you have amazing blessings in your life. Like for Alex and I, we have, the most amazing newborn baby, 2 months old, Remy Grace. And you should, think about it. It's like, oh, I should be grateful like every moment, every minute, right? And yet we're humans, and that's not true. And we get distracted by our problems. And I mean, and just being completely real, this morning was a challenge for me and for Alex, for us, because we're getting Black Friday, the sales are crushing, and it's like, this is a good problem to have, and yet, oh, why am I feeling this stress? Why is it harder to get into that state of gratitude today? Because, oh, all this is happening, I gotta do this, and oh, my Dashlane password manager isn't working, and I gotta get these passwords to my team, and oh, I had to fire somebody yesterday who was insubordinate. It's like, that's why these rhythms that we're talking about today, these steps that we can take, why we have to keep going over it, because as human beings, right, we forget 90% of what we learn or hear, and we have to like have that coach. We all have coaches and need coaches to be able to say, hey, don't remember the fundamentals. Remember the fundamentals, and one of the key fundamentals that we're talking about today is how do you get in that state of gratitude? What works for you? What works for Jason? What works for me? It may not work for you. It may not be the most useful. So we're talking about ways today to get into that state of gratitude, because face it, we're going to face, the more our business succeeds, the more you succeed, more problems. That's just life.
So we're going to put in the show notes for you guys. There's going to be a link that Alex came up with, and that's where we got the idea for it. So check it out. But so we'll start getting into to everything. So gratitude, first and foremost, just getting into a place of gratitude dramatically improves your mindset and your ability to achieve things. It really is a proven fact that mindset is the most important thing that we have as it relates to our success or failure in any area of our life. And specifically, we talk in the business sense, because that's we're business people, we're entrepreneurs. So generally, the stuff that we talk about is how it relates to the business world. But that really goes towards anything in life. It's not just how we handle our business. It's our mindset's going to determine how we handle our relationships, how we handle our fitness, our health, the things that we eat. It all starts up here. And if we're not getting into a place of constantly being grateful, or at least on a daily basis, to where we're well, again, I'm not perfect, but more often than not, where we're focusing on that 1%, right? That's the principle of what we focus on, is the 1%, and that's making those conscious decisions to get into a place of gratitude. It really makes a world of difference when it comes to tackling the daily issues that we face as business people, because every day there's new challenges. You're dealing with people. We teach people how to become CEOs of a company, and as a CEO, it's different than when you're the employee of a company, because you have other people that you're having to manage, and they have problems, and sometimes they don't feel like doing stuff that you need them to do in order for you to get your business to the next level. So it's the mindset. How do we handle those things? Are we solution oriented, or are we problems oriented? I know that the one thing that I've noticed from our community of people is the people who are focused on the problem generally don't enjoy what they're doing, and they flame out after a while, because they're focused on all the problems that pops up throughout the course of the day, the course of the weeks, the months. You can see it every day. And this will even lead us into another section later on, when we talk about how it breeds negativity, right? So, one aspect of your mindset is, you could either see the problems, or you could see the blessings of life. It really is a choice, and success is a choice, really. But you can't be successful if you're not making that conscious decision of being grateful for the opportunity that you have first and foremost. You know, like if the opportunity is too stressful for you, then the success is going to be a heavy burden on you. And, you know, when you got a heavy burden, it's not fun.
Yeah, I think that in that mindset that we're talking about, people should understand that you know, you can't just shift gears overnight. You know, that if you feel like, oh man, I don't even know how to get into that mindset, how does that happen? Well, it starts with just do one thing. You know, can you stop 1 minute out of this hour and think about the problem and think about what's good about it? What's the solution on the other side that Jason's talking about here? And the more that you practice that, just kind of like working out we were talking about, you know, then you start to work out that muscle, and you're building that mindset muscle of gratitude rather than despair, whatever we want to call it, or negativity. You know, we'll get into more later. I think that in terms of what's actionable for those that are watching this right now is, if we're talking about mindset, if that's a new concept to you, think about, okay, what am I stressed about in terms of the problems and everything? And stop seeing it as something that's happening to you and start looking at it as, what's the opportunity here, and what's the benefit if I get through this problem? And how does that benefit me, my family, those around me? And maybe that can help to create more of a state of gratitude coming from mindset.
Yeah, so like when it comes to that, like, you know, if we're focusing on the problem, I think that we've all heard it before. We keep getting the problems, but like, you know, it really is that that daily discipline, that 1% a day that we talk about a lot. And it's a practice, you know, like if you're used to living a certain way in life, you know, and you're not used to coming from a place of gratitude, it's probably a little bit difficult at first, you know, but it's something that, like, if you consciously practice and you consciously get to a place where it's like, you know, when a problem arises, you can just remind yourself that, oh, there's an opportunity in this problem for me to grow, and for me to become a better business person, for me to become a better husband or wife or father. You know, like every problem gives you a new opportunity to grow. You know, like that's, I know in my life, where I get the most growth is through making mistakes and having problems, because those problems allow me to focus on like putting solutions in place for the problems, which leads us into, you know, gratitude. You know, it creates solutions, right? Like it gives you the opportunity, the mindset to focus on the solution to the problem as opposed to the problem itself. I know that when I get someone that wants a refund from me, in our drop shipping business, I positioned it because it used to bug me, so I started positioning it in my mind saying I had to earn that refund. Like I had to make a sale first and foremost, because I was coming from a place where I'm not used to making any money ever. Like I was down and out. I didn't have any money, you know, like and you start making sales, and it's really cool, but then you start dealing with the problems of running the business where people are unhappy that they're getting something from one of our suppliers, or it's late, or, you know, someone's upset that you charged them more than they could have got it at, you know, got it from another store or something like that, and they want a refund. So it's like I had to start conditioning myself to say, you know what, I had to earn that person getting upset. I had to earn it by making a sale, you know. So like there was the opportunity and continuing to make more sales, and you know, as that happened, what started happening was it allowed me to keep bringing cash into my business, and start hiring people to put them in place to be a little bit of a buffer or a shield, you know what I mean, as opposed to like me having to be the person that's dealing with it. And because it's tough when you're the business owner, you're like so heavily invested in everything. It's like, how does this person not like me? Why are they attacking me? I don't understand it. Why are they so upset? You know, we didn't do anything to hurt them. You know, it's like, yeah, we're just providing an opportunity for them to get the product that they wanted to buy, you know, at a price that they were willing to pay. You know, so like the being grateful for that opportunity first and foremost allows me to put the solution in place to get that buffer between me and the person who's upset, that's trying to rip me back down into, a place of being frustrated, or, oh, this isn't worth it today. Like, I don't want to deal with this crap, like,
Hmm.
so like that's kind of a big deal, like if you are focused on the problem, that's exactly what you get, is you get more of the problem. If you're focused on the solution, that's what you get. You get the
Well, I
solution.
love that you're talking about getting in that state of gratitude and how basically you had this problem and it led to a solution that you hadn't initially really focused on or thought about. But getting into that gratitude led to a solution to the problem, and now it's better. You've solved that problem, and I totally relate with that. For me, it was I think about all the years working for corporations, and I know we share this too, but working in the corporate world or different businesses where I just felt like I was part of a machine and I just didn't fit, and it just wasn't me, and I didn't have that sort of mindset of seeing myself as entrepreneur, or all I knew was, well, this is the stream. You're a fish, you work 9 to 5, and that's just what you do, and so I went through years of just trying to find the right job. If I just find this right job that's going to be the right fit for me, then it'll all come together, and realizing that the problem I was trying to solve, the approach or the strategy, it wasn't working, and so it wasn't. And I went through seasons of really being depressed because I felt stuck. And I know if you're out there watching this and maybe you're in that place now, or you're trying to break free and you're like, yeah, I feel like I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this job I hate. I'm stuck in this MLM business that is, I've signed up my mom and my aunt, and I can't get any traction or whatever it is, to say that it really wasn't until I started getting into that place of gratitude, of the blessings I had, that I was able to meet the right people. All of a sudden, my mind was opened up, and that led to getting into that new stream that I didn't even know was there, that entrepreneurial stream. Being your own boss, working from home, and so forth. And I think that that's part of the benefit of gratitude, is that with Jason, what he's talking about, what I'm talking about, is it's going to open up solutions that you'd never considered, because your mindset's been expanded in a different way. You're open to maybe receiving from God, to open to like drawing from your own understanding, or maybe even listening to others that you hadn't listened to before. But your mind's expanded, and you're able to then make better choices to solve problems that you hadn't even considered before.
So some practical examples, in my business, of becoming solutions oriented, has been, like creating our software tool that we
Yeah.
use to manage our inventory, because like when we were starting out, it was a very manual process for us to check inventory levels from our suppliers, because our suppliers don't tell us how many of each item they have. They don't tell us when they go out of stock or anything like that. So we had to put some type of like automation in place that would free up my people to be able to focus on the income producing activities, as opposed to like spending all this money on kind of just like putting a band-aid over the existing problem. And
Mhm.
if I was coming from a place of this being frustrating, this sucks, like, I would have never like recognized there being an opportunity there. So another thing, in my business again, and maybe someone's watching this, they don't have any idea like what drop shipping is or what we do, and that's fine, because this can happen in like this goes for any business. The way that I operate as a business person is I'm always kind of taking stock of what's going on out there. I see what people's problems are. I see maybe the ungratitude things going on, the things that frustrate other people, and then I try to put solutions in place to solve those problems, and it's a natural marriage, because if I could solve their problems, then they're gonna like me, they're gonna want to hang out with me, and I'm gonna attract the right people into the business. We just opened up a certification program where there's certain people who struggle when it comes to training staff. So we're pretty good at it over here when it comes to our business. Now, not every business, like we can't just go train people how to do everything. It's very specific to what we do, but it solves people's problems inside of our group that exponentially decreases the learning curve for them from having to figure out how to become the expert and train someone how to build the system, because we built a $2 million+ business at this point, so we have a lot of experience. We have a lot of talented people on my team who can make that program actually a reality. So if I was only focused on the problem, I would have never saw these opportunities to go out there and put solutions in place and provide more value into the marketplace.
Right.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago on one of our episodes, where we talked about providing value into the world, providing value into the marketplace. If you do that, that's how you get what you want out of life, right? You get it because it fills up your love bucket in so many different ways, because you're helping people, they appreciate the fact that you're helping them, and it brings the right types of people around you, and it gets you away from those people that tend to try to drag you down into their world. I know that I love my old friends and everything. I don't have anything wrong with them, but I don't communicate a lot with them anymore, because they don't come from the entrepreneur world. They don't come from it. So my friends are the people who it's people all over the world who have taken this journey with me and been along the ride. So yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for everything. All those learning experiences in my life have made it possible for me to, build my business. I've got, this year we're going to do $3 million between my two companies. It's pretty awesome. I'm super excited about that.
There's a lot to be grateful for, and you wouldn't have gotten to that point and the awesome 2016 if you'd let your problems get you stuck in that state.
Yeah.
And that's what's awesome, is that you said, what, I believe in the system and myself, and it's just been building ever since then. And I think that's a mark that we want people who are watching to really take, is that you can start being grateful right now. You don't have to wait. It doesn't have to be perfect, because Jason, and I both started this business making zero. We started from zero. This is Zero to Hero show. So Alex and I just crossed over $1 million in sales.
Huge congrats on that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so but people have to understand is that, because I know that we know, right? There's people who are watching this right now who are saying, yeah, that's great and all for you, but you don't understand my problem, right? Because it's going in one ear, not the other, and we're saying, stop it. We're being, listen, Jason and I both love football, so we're taking a football mindset. That's why this is not a gratitude, touchy-feely thing. We're saying, whip yourself into shape, whatever you have to do, but we're sort of your entrepreneurial trainer, football coaches right now, to say, suck it up, get back on the field, figure out what the problem is, what are you doing wrong, whether it's your angle, your positioning, whatever it is. I'm using some football speak now. If you're not getting low, if you're not underneath your pads, whatever your problem is, I bet you we can tweak that and get you there and go, oh. So, and we're saying it starts with seeing the problem as not a problem, but an opportunity. And something that you're able to overcome. I've coached tons and tons of executives, a lot of them senior executives. I'm talking C-suite people who are in career transition. And it was very interesting to me. Most of the time, the higher level people I worked with were my easiest clients. Why was that? Because they recognized they were not experts in what they were going through. they had been working in a certain field, and now they had to learn about the networking skills, how to sell themselves in a competitive job market, how to transition from a corporate world to an entrepreneurial world. And I remember sitting with one guy, and his compensation the previous year had been over $1 million, and we were talking, and he said, "Just tell me what to do." He goes, "I trust you have the expertise, and your organization has the resources, and I know that I don't know." He knew what he didn't know, and he knew what he knew. And the people who were the most frustrating were usually under 30 years old. They thought they knew everything. They didn't want to listen. They had a lot of operating from fear rather than operating from gratitude. And the successful people, it's funny. People are successful for a reason. They were the ones that said, "I'm grateful for the service you're offering, and I'm eager to implement the plan. Let's just knock it out, whatever the steps are, whatever the problems are." And so we're saying that today too. Solution-oriented, and it starts with gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So step number 3, number 3 is gratitude is appealing to others. Gratitude's sexy, isn't it just so much more fun to be around people who are happy, who are lively, who have energy, who have passion towards life, and being around negative people, it sucks, right? It's like, oh, I don't want to hear that. Like, get away from me, like
energy vampires.
I have. Yeah, all right. So good example of like how can you identify when you're in the energy vampire mode? Is if you find yourself scrolling through Facebook and you're getting frustrated at other people and the stuff that they're posting, it's like it's time to turn Facebook off and it's time to go do something more productive, at that moment, because like you're not being grateful for, like at that point of your life, and like what that tends to bring, and I've been guilty of this in my life, to where like I'll put like a post out there on my personal page talking about how like other people are annoying to me because of stuff that they're posting on their Facebook pages or something like that, and it's like that's not doing any good. That's not attracting the right kind of people in my life. That's just attracting the wrong kinds of people. There's a lot of quote unquote leaders out there in the really the network marketing world that tends to be kind of a little bit of an audience that we attract as people who come from that space. And some of these people, it's like they don't even realize what they're doing when they're posting these posts about, I wish everybody else would just like stick it out long enough and really put their effort, their best foot forward. And it's like, like I get it, because I feel the same way a lot of times. It's like I wish that people would just go do it. But it's like you're putting the wrong energy out there into the universe by putting that out there, because all you're attracting is the people that are going to Me Too. You're going to get the Me Toos, the negative people that are like, oh yeah, I hate those people too. And it's like it just becomes this thread of just negativity. And it's like anybody who's like got a good right mindset, they're not going to be attracted to that. So you're not going to be attracting the right kinds of people into your life anyways. When you're doing stuff like that, you're going to be attracting typically the people who are going to keep dragging you down, because what happens, you become friends with them, and then you go to their Facebook page, or you're scrolling through your news feed and they're posting the same stuff about how other people are pissing them off because nobody wants to stick it out and nobody's got the right mindset like they have. And it's like you're not coming from a place of gratitude at that point. You're coming from a place of anger, and it's just not a place to live. That's not how you get where you want to go in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. It really, and I hope people see how these things stack on each other. Mindset, problem solving. Gratitude makes you have that positive energy. So the people, again, the clients I've coached, I had to like give them feedback. I might do like mock interviews with them, and then I would tell them, I'd say, you have. I remember saying, I have to tell people things like, when you look at me, you don't blink. So you have this penetrating gaze, which some people might think is like a psychopath. So you had to be like, oh, okay. I said, what are you thinking about there? Well, I'm just thinking about this point or whatever, and yeah, I had to give people feedback on the vibe, the energy that they're giving off to people. And I think that I think about the old saying, Dale Carnegie or whatever, that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if you're not coming from a place of gratitude, how do you expect, how do you think you're coming off to others? Probably not real well.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, and I think we're in the political season, so you see that too. You see these political candidates, and you go, essentially, people end up voting for people they like. That's really what it comes down to. If you think about most elections, whatever, I know that sometimes you might say, I can't possibly support that person or what have you, but a lot of times it's like, I just like that guy better. I like that lady better than the other one. And I think that's probably what it'll come down to next year. And I know that that's really what we're talking about is if you want to move forward, gratitude will help you be more likable too. So there's another reason that it's essentially in your best interest to be a person of gratitude, because it's going to make you more winsome to other people that you're around.
Good example. You just brought up political. So have you ever see when someone posts anything that might be about Barack Obama, whether you like him, you hate him, whatever the case may be, he could have just saved 1 million people's lives, running out of a burning building or something, and someone's gonna put something completely hateful towards him, and it's gonna be a thread of 10,000 comments and stuff of people calling each other idiots and just some mean, nasty stuff. An opportunity to come from a place of gratitude, because I really truly believe no matter who the president of the United States is, we have the best opportunity on the planet. We have the opportunity to do what we're doing right now. We don't, the world is an ugly place, right? There's people out there who don't like us and want to hurt us, as witnessed just what happened in Paris a few weeks ago. And the fact that we have the safety and the security to be able to step outside of our door and go eat, and to be able to drive on roads that are paved, and we have trash systems that will keep everything sanitary and stuff. It's I'm grateful for all that stuff. I'm certainly not upset, and I'm getting to where I'm going to be in a higher tax bracket, and of course that stuff can be a little bit frustrating, but it's sure as heck the alternative of not having the opportunities that we have here, because if you're seeing the world from opportunity, they're all over the place. But if you're seeing the world from everything that's wrong, the political candidates and jerk, or I don't believe with what they say, if you're getting wrapped up in those arguments all the time, it's you're just, I don't know, you're attracting the people at that point who want to call you a jerk, for believing what you believe for whatever reason. It's everybody's got their own opinion, and you got to respect people's opinions, whether you believe what they believe or not. You got to come from a place of respect, and the only way that you can do that is just by being grateful for sometimes having the opportunity to not say anything at all. You know what I mean? Don't even read stuff if it's going to put you in a bad mood.
Yeah, I'm kind of proud of myself. I feel like I've grown in some ways by watching myself, having to see that and everything. But because I've always enjoyed the sort of political debate and what have you, but the older I get, the more it's this is sort of pointless. And man, I used to listen to hours of political talk radio, but the thing is, it doesn't put you in a grateful state.
Puts you in a pissed off state. You're upset. You're mad.
Name the last. Whichever way you swing. Whatever channel you're watching on cable news or on the radio, it's not geared to make you grateful. It's geared to gin up your anger about whatever issue, and it's all edited so that they know their audience, they know their avatar, right? And so they only throw the red meat that's really going to gin that up, and so that's not gonna. So I'll watch a little bit here and there, but not too much, because I find myself going getting stirred up, right? And where's my pitchfork? I'm gonna burn something down. It's that doesn't put me in a state I like what you said. What'd you say? You know, it doesn't fill my love bucket. You
Yeah.
know, we were here about filling your love bucket, baby. Come on, baby. Fill that love bucket so you can
Yeah, man.
pour it all over your people around you. So yeah, that doesn't. Is that helping you? You know, and I love like what Sam Crowley said. He said, you know, he said I made money in the Clinton administration. I made more money in the Bush administration. I made even the most money in the Obama administration. So
Yeah,
that's our hope. You know, for Jason, for me, and for you. Doesn't matter. You know what letters next to their name. We want you to make more money each successive administration, and you know what? Life will go on.
that's it. That's it. That's that 1% a day. You know, he's been putting the 1% in for many years,
Mm-hmm.
and that 1%, it compounds over time. You know, that's with the book that we're writing right now. Like, really, the whole premise of our book is really putting that 1% in, day after day after day. And you know, hey, you have days where you don't, but like, you know, more days than not, the compounding returns end up, you know, getting to a point where you have you have this ball that's rolling down the hill, and it's like, you know, it's an avalanche effect that's happening. You know, so
The snowball is building.
so what is that? Gratitude is a force multiplier, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you're grateful, it rubs off on other people. You know, again, I mean, I think that a lot of this, you know, we kind of keep going back to the same thing, but like, I know that I'm grateful that, you know, again, I get the opportunity every day to do what I get to do. You know, like, I'm grateful for the people who work for me and the fact that I get to help them live the life that they want to live, you know, and I get to provide them the financial means to take care of their families. And, you know, in return, they give me the freedom that I get to enjoy in life, you know, because like I get to take vacations and do all this fun stuff. Just got back from a 5-day cruise with a couple people in our mastermind group, and you know, the business ran the entire time. I know our dropshipping business, we did like $65,000-$70,000 in sales while I was on a cruise ship, you know, like just because, you know, just treating people the right way and, you know, doing things, you know, every day that provides opportunities. And, you know, if I was coming from a place of frustration or place of fear, like, oh no, what happens if I'm not around? You know, like, nobody
Yeah.
can do as good as I can, you know. And I mean, it really is. I mean, the more that we wake up and we get into a place of being grateful for, you know, the people that we get to associate with, you know, it makes a world of difference over time. You know, like the people who have been with me for a couple years, you know, like they're doing pretty well for themselves financially at this point, and you know, it's a win-win for everybody. You know, they get to win, I get to win, and you know, like, and if I looked at it as like, oh, they're my employees, I need to, you know, need to keep, you know how like some people tell you that you're not allowed to be friends with your employees. That's, man, I tell you what, me and Ice, we go out, we'll tip a few back, and have a good time. It's all good, you know. Like because I'm grateful for the employees, and I don't ever want it to be like this thing to where, you know, I'm just this guy at the top, and you know, I can't associate with them. I can't be your friend because I'm your boss type of mentality. You know what I mean? I
Well, it's
like,
just because you have a better, higher mindset than what the people who are, again, we're coming back to like making those naggy rules are about. You can't be successful and never watch TV or have fun. You know, is you're creating a family business, but you're determining who your family is. And again, that's another sort of entrepreneurial venture that you're doing. And you know what? That's awesome to break the rules, isn't it? And you're a force multiplier with that.
we get to create our own rules. That's the joy of being an entrepreneur. Is like, other people's rules, they're not your rules. They're other people's rules. They're like, and then, you know, like, hey, we respect their rules for what they think that they're worth. But you know, like, the way that I look at things is like, if that person's not doing substantially better than I am in life, and I'm not listening to them. Like, they're not someone who's gonna like influence me to change my rules. And like, you
Yeah.
know, sometimes we create our own rules based on the way that we just want to live our lives. You know, and I want to live my life being able to connect with people on a level that I can be their friend, but I can still be their boss if I have to be. And like it's a fun environment to be around. Like the people, like I get to attract awesome people into my life now, and like hell, I wouldn't have ever like got linked up with you and Alex or all the awesome people, if like I was running around frustrated at everything and mad at the world all the time, right? Like you guys wouldn't have wanted to be around it. You'd have been like, this guy's a weirdo. I don't want to be. This guy's a real weird sandwich, right?
No, it's good, and that's just, yeah, totally. We're able to, through the force multiplier of the internet, and working from home and being online like on this. We're on video here talking to each other, and you're on video here watching us talk about this. We have a lot to be grateful for, because this helps us connect in ways that you couldn't do 10 years ago, 15 years ago, so it's amazing. And I was just kind of thinking about too, like in terms of this idea of gratitude as a force multiplier, and thinking about some of the things we're talking about. We're talking about like taking a step of action with your mindset, overcoming your problems, seeing that gratitude will help you innovate and find different ways to overcome whatever issues or challenges your business are facing. That sometimes a step of action that you may need, and I need, and we all need, is just to do something for somebody else. Now, Jason's talking about, hey, I'm providing these jobs for people, hiring people. We're building this kind of entrepreneurial family business, that it may be something where you can do locally, at a local church, or here it's Thanksgiving, help handing out food or what have you. Because I think back to like my grandma, my Arkansas grandma used to say, you want to feel better about yourself, the easiest way is to do something for someone else. And it's amazing how much more grateful you feel when you're doing something for someone else, even if you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Contribution,
right? We get to contribute to other people's lives, and that's one of those things that fills up the love bucket. That's one of the important things, because when you contribute to someone else's life, they feel special. They feel loved, they feel wanted, and in turns it makes you feel appreciated. And everybody's got their different priorities with the way that we get fulfillment out of life. But I know contribution is one of those that literally is essential to true fulfillment. If you're not contributing to other people, like if for example you have $1 billion and you have no friends, does it matter? Like do you feel good about having $1 billion? Like, what are you gonna do with it? You're just gonna buy a bunch of stuff and hang out by yourself? Like, cool, I have a bunch of stuff. This is great, but I have nobody to celebrate my success with. Like that's certainly not a good place to live. So contribution is it's a byproduct of being grateful for the opportunities that you do have. Handing out turkeys and doing stuff like that. Some people, they're just not as fortunate, and like a lot of times it's a product of environment and years and years and years of bad habits that leads them to the position that they're in. And the only thing that we can do is try to help them where they're at right now, right? And to the best of our abilities. We're not saviors. We can't change everybody. We can't change the world, other than like in our own little way, make an impact on a few people's lives, and it's just identifying that. Like that leads us to our last point. Gratitude makes you resourceful, right? Like if you're not coming from a place of love, then you're coming from a place that's gonna just create this fear. The essence of being an entrepreneur, I know for me, is in the art of creating. Like what we're doing with this show right now. We're creating something. This is what, episode 4 or 5 that we're on right now, and like in a year from now we'll have 52 episodes. Like we'll have a whole library of episodes. We'll have a podcast and everything. Like it's fun to create this stuff, and it's you know, if you're not grateful for the opportunity to do this stuff, or you know, like it doesn't give you that confidence to go out there and build yourself into the person that you got to be in order to invite the success. And you know, that comes through resourcefulness. I know, like, one of the biggest things in our community people struggle with is their resourcefulness. They're always waiting for someone else to, you know, give them the answer to a problem. And this is my last example here. So a couple years ago, I was actually doing a video about this a couple mornings ago, but my phone ran out of space. So this is a perfect time for that. Like, I was on the cruise last week, and I got back, and I you know, went into the Facebook group, and I saw, you know, like some stuff that was going on, and how, you know, some people aren't being as resourceful as they could be. And I was thinking, like, how could I get a point across, you know, to like what it really takes to be a successful entrepreneur. So a couple years ago, before I had any success in my business, this was in the year that I was, you know, transitioning. I was unemployed, and I was putting together a blog at the time, and I was trying to do this local marketing stuff at the time. And like, this blog, I was trying to copy someone else's, and I didn't have the money to like pay a programmer to do this stuff. So literally, I spent 12 hours, 12 freaking hours trying to figure out how to move some text on a page literally about an inch. Literally about an inch. And it's like, you know, going to forums, looking at code, trying to figure out where to put the code, and try to figure out how that code actually affected something. It's like 12 hours of doing that to move something 1 inch that never made me a single dime, you know. But that's the resourcefulness, you know. Like, at the time, I was just grateful that I didn't have to go to work, man. I was just like, this is awesome. I get to hang out doing what I really want to be doing. This is fun. Even if it's extremely frustrating and maddening not to be able to figure it out, like the you know, the purpose of doing that, or the act of doing that, you know, was just one of those things that, like, looking back over time, and that's typically the way that I operate in my business. It's like, when I don't know something, I'm not like trying to go around there and like, you know, wait for everybody else to tell me. Like, I'm gonna go freaking figure it out, you know, and be resourceful. If like, and that's been like one of those things that, like, you know, I really am grateful for, is my resourcefulness. And you know, I really do believe that it does attract the right types of people too, you know. It gives me parables. It gives me stories that I could talk about to help maybe make sense to other people throughout their journey into the entrepreneur world, because we all start somewhere.
Right, right. We start it, we learn it, and then we can teach others, you know, to be able to learn how to be more resourceful. And yeah, I discovered that for myself. I think it was last year, Christmas this time. You know, just we're in the midst of busyness of an awesome sales explosion, and being able to discover a whole new niche of awesome products. You know, and I think with our drop shipping business, we have different people that, you know, that there's so much opportunity out there, and it's all about kind of uncovering those for that specific example. Oh, here's a whole category that really hasn't been tapped, or what's a different way I can innovate to increase my margins, you know, and bottom line. And you know, you face a lot of you'll face pushback on that sometimes. I know. As I'm talking about that, I'm thinking about one of the you know, and this is sort of higher level stuff that's reserved for our mastermind group, so I really can't speak freely about it, but I'll say that even sometimes when you have innovative ideas, you get that from a place of gratitude, you're still, people are always going to push back. People will resist. If you operate as a thankful person, if you bring innovation, you know, pioneers get the arrows, you know. Sorry for the PC crowd out there, but isn't that the truth? And I remember, like, Jay, I'm talking about, like, when I was sharing at the group this summer, man, like, there's a lot of pushback and what I was talking about. But you know what? People are missing out. You know, I know it's helped us increase our margins and bottom line, and and it starts from thankfulness to innovation, resourcefulness, and dealing with others that may not see things the same way or not appreciate where you're coming from. But you know what? Still can be grateful that you have that opportunity to run with the right people who do see your worth, see your value, and are going to be supportive in the endeavors you're trying to do. We're supportive of you out there and want to see you be resourceful, be grateful, and innovate so you can find that freedom in your own life.
Gosh, there's opportunity everywhere, everywhere in the world. If you just solve problems, right? Yeah, identify where there's problems, and there's tons and tons and tons of industries and niches. Everybody comes from very unique backgrounds where they have experiences in certain areas that I know I don't have any experiences in, but man, wow, there's just opportunity everywhere. So what we're going to leave you with is, how can you start being more grateful today? What's a couple simple exercises that you can do to start being grateful? I know one thing that Tony Robbins teaches is he teaches really spending at least 15 minutes every day, first getting into a conscious state of gratitude. You spend a few minutes just maybe in silence, maybe just breathing, just getting into a place where all the noise is shut off, to where you can really focus on being grateful for being present, for the decisions that you get to make throughout the day, the opportunities that are out there, whether you don't see them at this point or not. You gotta understand that they're out there, they're out there, and you're grateful for the opportunity to find it. You're grateful for the conscious choice that you get to go out there and find the opportunity. You might not know what it is, but if you're at least grateful, instead of focusing on everything that you don't have, right? Focusing on how you got to pay the bills and all that other stuff that's just not real fun. Get to a place where you focus on a couple things that you're grateful for. Focus on your health. I'm grateful for being alive. Grateful for my family. Grateful for my house, my bed that I get to sleep in, the roof that I have over my head, the food that I get to eat. Grateful for the people that I get to associate with. There's always something to be grateful for.
Yep.
There's always something.
Yep. And I think also the thing people can do is be mindful of what you're talking about, what you're saying, and start to raise your awareness of what's coming out of your own mouth. And we can catch ourselves being negative, being critical, and that's going to keep you from that place of gratitude. And instead, so start to, throughout the day, pay attention and listen for, I notice I'm really being negative about this person, about this situation. Where's that coming from? And if you track that back, you'll be able to see, okay, I'm not in a state of gratitude. I'm in this state of whatever it is, this negativity. And that's making me be this critical, negative person. And then just say, how is this going to help me? How is this going to help? How is this going to help my life? How is this going to help my family, my business, those around me?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for Alex. I'm grateful for the opportunity to do the show with you, man. You're awesome. And guys, just make sure that you check out our show notes. This is the show where we are all set. We're running up on the 1 hour mark, and we try not to go over an hour here. So check our show notes. It's going to be on our blog. Leave us a comment if we connect with you on something. If there's something that you'd like for us to talk about at some point in the future, leave us some love. Let us know that you're listening. Let us know that our message is being heard. Or
our love bucket.
Fill our love bucket. Yes. And have an excellent Thanksgiving. You guys go out there, have an awesome, awesome Thanksgiving. If you're watching this after Thanksgiving, have an awesome day.
Yeah,
whatever today.
Great for you.
Have an awesome today. All right.
Have a good one.